Hello and welcome to me reviewing chess games for this very exciting matchup here today. We are at week 6 of this corporate league, and the teams facing off today are going to be the Open Source Knights against the KingSacrifice. So I've got kind of some different information listed out there to sort of give you a general frame of reference for what we're looking at. Big thing here is that essentially the Open Source Knights are at a huge favorite to win this right now. We're currently looking at, let's see here, which one is this? So Sev Berlin versus somebody else. That's going to be this one here. I'm going to do my best to just kind of highlight what we're looking at so you have some good general context. That's my whole game plan here. So we have these two facing off, and that's going to be... where's that at? Right over here. These two. Cool. So very excited, of course, to be doing this, and you'll have to sort of bear with me. This is basically my first time streaming this league matchup, so it'll be fun to cover it. And let's just jump into the games here. Basically, we have the black player here having a dominant lead, and it looks like they have won that match, and that's going to bring us into the second round here. So these two will face off. All right, I'm going to go ahead and update these scores here too, so we can see where everyone's at. Okay, so it looks like Sev Berlin won that one. I'm going to go ahead and notate that over here. Everyone has played one round. And then, like I said, this is my first time covering this matchup. I'm super excited to be doing it. And comments, questions in the chat are of course all welcome and encouraged. Okay, so we had a win there for Sev Berlin. Oh man, this is fun. This is fun keeping track of all these here. So we're currently on round 2 already. We're sailing through. Of course, quite a bit to keep tabs on here while I comment on the games. Let me just look at the games, I suppose, more so than anything else. These two are facing off. This is Megalophorus on the KingSacrifice team, and then they're playing against D14. So D14 is a huge favorite to win this, but Megalophorus holding their own right here, actually had a bit of an advantage here. Kind of interesting. So if we go back a minute here, earlier on, after going E5, Megalophorus saw the opportunity to capture, and then after taking right here, now White finds himself a little bit behind in development. Kind of an interesting development of the game here. So Knight comes into G4, hitting F2 and also E5. King to E1, good move here, putting up some defense there to guard that guy. So like I said, when I go over these games, I just like to give people like as much context as possible. So let me just highlight these different things. We have Megalophorus and also D14 facing off. This is going to be round 2. So let's scroll up and see this. We have these two here and this matchup. And just like that, we are looking at it. And then we have these other games queued off as well. I'm kind of rooting for the underdogs here and there. The KingSacrifice, by their average rating, are at a pretty big disadvantage. So it would be quite impressive if they could turn this around and beat the odds here. This is so much fun. Definitely a lot of multitasking here. My my standings aren't quite updated just yet, but I'm at least doing my best to highlight who is playing here. Let's see. So if we have Ori as the 1900, the highest rated of the match, I suppose it would make sense to mainly keep tabs on that game. let's go here. We'll go Ori, and then, yeah, that's the game we're looking at here. So let me update their standings as well. All right, we have Ori, game 2 against Tamara. So a huge rating discrepancy here between these two here. But you know, that's I don't know, something that's great about chess is you can just learn from losses against high rated players like this. So it's good to have a growth mindset when facing a game like this. That being said, it does actually look like Tamara possibly has the lead here. This would be a tremendous upset for the open source, for the KingSacrifice team. So Ori's going to have to prove his rating here. We'll see if he can pull that off. All right, so what do we have happening in the position here? It is pretty even. Pretty even right now. We have this player here, Tamara, against Ori. I'm gonna spin around. I'm just gonna blatantly be show some favoritism here because I really want to see an upset here. Okay. Black right now has got to find King E7. Not too difficult of a move to find. The bishop's pinned, so the only way to really protect it right now is to go like this. You don't want to play knight to E4. If you do that, then takes, then you lose this guy right here. Tamara's also doing pretty well on time here as well. And this is really impressive to have a near equal game against the top. Oh, I spoke too soon. No, this is tragic. And then Ori doesn't even blink. He just goes ahead and smashes that knight, removes the defender, and then knocks out that bishop. Yikes. And now this is going to be a tremendous lead for Ori now after going bishop right here. Well, I was rooting for you, Tamara, but I think it's not going to work for you this game. I'm going to keep it on this while I update the standings to the best of my ability and get us all caught up there. I did get a comment that the mic is only coming out on one side. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I have been trying to fix that, but haven't gotten there yet. So again, I'm gonna share this screen here while I update the standings on my end and get us all some accurate information. Well, I may not be able to make it accurate, but I can disclude the information that is inaccurate. So let's go like this. I underestimated the difficulty of keeping tabs on those here. But I can at least highlight the players who are playing. That's the best I got for today. Okay, I'm having fun though. Okay, we have Ori's got a massive lead. Let's go ahead and see if any of these other games are a bit closer. This one here, of course, has developed quite a bit. Okay, this is interesting. So D14 is kind of holding, is being held up, I suppose, by Megalophorus. So these two are facing off right over here. Both players about even on time as well. So that's interesting. And then the favorite to win this is going to be D14. He's got some extra pawns, I believe. We have not even necessarily extra pawns. So he's got the exchange. He's up the exchange, but then white does have. Black does have some compensation due to his activity. The rook is pretty active, so is the knight and bishop. So white now coming over here to attack the knight. Knight charges back like this. Great move there. I'm going to spin it around. I want to root for the underdog here. So he is behind in this position, certainly. He doesn't have a whole lot of compensation for that extra exchange. But there's possibilities of making some counterplay. Like he could take right here. He could go rook over to b8 first. Does find that. That's good. And so now white has the onus of trying to figure out, okay, how do I actually leverage this extra exchange? And that's going to have to basically come in the format of just promoting these pawns, given the extra force that he has available, he or she. He's got to figure out a way to leverage that. And bishop b3 turns out not going to be the best way to do it. That's still going to allow black now to take here on b2. So kind of a hard move to find, but a better move would have been rook to b1. And then I'm not actually sure why necessarily that would be a good idea. Hold on, let me think about this. So if they'd gone there, then we gotta go analysis mode like this. This is so much fun. Oh my goodness. Thank you in advance for your patience while I get this out. I'm just really curious about this. Hold on. So if we go like this, can I spin around the board? Nope. Okay. So then we'll go here. Okay, their best move in this position was to go rook a to b1. If they had done this, then my question was, why don't they just take on b2 anyway? Am I missing something? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy? Looks like not necessarily. You just advance this, and then you have kind of an active rook. It's kind of a different way of giving up the pawn. And then if right here, then you go like this. And so essentially the best plan was to just allow for that to happen and just go into a position where they have some activity for it. Cool. Let's go back then and check out the live game. So we'll go like this. Yeah, back to the action here. And again, I'm just going to blatantly play favoritism and root for the underdog here. So Megaloforce does seem to be holding some ground right here. The position has returned back to equal. This is his chance. This is his chance now. Okay. Easy peasy lemon squeezy move to find here. See if you can guess it. D14 has made a big mistake. Big mistake here. He does find it. Nice. So black's now going to win back the exchange, giving them a really nice lead. So rook takes, of course. And then now the position is kind of switched around. Oh, interesting. But here there's only one good move. The second best move is to take the pawn, and then king takes, and then you lose the bishop for a pawn. But then how else are you supposed to proceed here? The bishop's trapped. Well, there's only one way out. What do you think it might be? He finds it. Awesome. Here, check. This is going to give the bishops a chance to run away here and then find cover. After which, I believe we're going to have a whopping three pass pawns going. King e4, though, does hold it down a little bit and then maintains the defensive right here, after which bishop goes to g3. And then white has a tough task of holding on. There was not the best move. Wait a second. The king is now kind of walking into a mating net. h5 check, attacking the king. This could be a significant turn of events here. Black now has a massive lead. This would be a great chance for Megaloforce to score a much-needed win for his team and get an upset in this matchup. Oh, it kills me that I don't have updated info. I would love to be able to just, update this little portion right here. This would be so cool if I could at least tell you the scores. I don't know the scores, but I'm having fun anyway. So rook to g3 check, attacking the king. This is a great play here, kind of forming a mating net. We got an attack going like this. Really curious to see if this move shakes out. King goes over there to h6, making a run for it. You know, it's looking bleak here for white. This is definitely Megaloforce's chance to take down d14 here. Quite a big rating difference. No small rating difference here, that's for sure. Rook g2, good move. Kind of a quiet move. The bishop was threatened, so I had to do something about that. This is still pretty tough, though, to win. Mate in one. Mate in one. He got it. Nice job, Megaloforce. Good one. Good one. All right. We're still on round 2. And then we have one more match for this one that's still in progress. So Tux Preacher. Okay, so that's going to be this person here. against good bad A. All right, so this one pretty even matchup on ratings, it looks like. Let's spin it around. I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna show some bias towards the open source Knights team here, and let's see if Tux Preacher can kind of prove his rating here. But there's only a small difference in rating difference here, only up by about 80 points. Okay, what's happening in the position? So much is happening here. A lot of life in this one. Black has a massive lead, and is that due to pieces? No, actually not, because we have a ton of imbalances in pawn structure, but not so much in the pieces. Now we do, though. It takes right here, just drop the exchange. So I do believe that this was going to be a major comeback. A major development here. Sorry, I just got a text message in the ascertainment of the advantage for Black now. But why a second ago was that such a big deal? Oh, he wasn't a fork. Okay, so no matter what he did, he was going to lose that exchange. So again, Tux Preacher is on the open source Knight team. Big favorite to win this, and also big favorite to win this in this game. So after right here, Bishop retreats. Okay, so Black just has to mop up some pawns. He's doing that here, attacking the bishop now. And we have this kind of avalanche of pawns that are going to be advancing along the queen side. Okay, so when a side is way behind, I kind of like to look out for what could be possible reasons to be cheerful, and one of those could be that Black is down on time by a little bit. And it's particularly hard to make use of these passed pawns sometimes with little time on your clock. So if White can keep things complicated, he may kind of hold off the Tux Preacher here. And that looks like, oh, this is interesting. I didn't know this. Looks like round 3 for Ori has already started. Wish that they would wait until all the other rounds are done to do that one. But these two, at least, are currently in round 2. All right, so C5. White's eating up a lot of time here, and it's definitely hard to figure out what to play. I mean, you can go like, it says bishop to e5, and then kind of hold it back and retreat like this, but it's just so hard to meet this threat right now that's just super clear cut. It doesn't require a lot of calculating or like sophisticated ideas to see that you just want to go here and here. Bishop g5, I don't know what I think of this move. I think the bishop really would have been better suited along this diagonal and kind of putting up a fight against these pawns here. Let's see what happens next. Bishop comes back to h5. Okay, not making a huge difference here. This is looking really good for Tux Preacher. Up to 6 points. Very clear-cut plan of pushing these guys down. Oh, I should go like this. Yeah. Pawn to g4. I'm going to stick around to this one to get a solid conclusion on one of these matchups. Bishop retreats. It's looking pretty dismal right now for the good bad A. As mentioned earlier, the open source Knights were at a huge favor to win this. I do believe that they are holding their ground, although I'm not entirely sure, because I don't know where to get the updated information. They don't update on the website immediately. But having lots of fun. All right, so pawn to f4. Okay, I like this idea. Trying to keep things a little complicated. I think that Black can pretty much just ignore it and play c4 anyway. A lot of wiggle room to make some mistakes. But he's not even going to make a mistake. He's going to play the perfect move there in that position and go like this. And then good bad A is going to take the knight. Okay, I like this. Trying to slow down those pawns after it takes and takes. Then Black is ahead by a whole rook, but they've only got 30 seconds. So it's really more a matter of who can get checkmate. So essentially, if you can't get checkmate, then it's going to be a matter of just who's ahead on the clock. This is going to be a total crapshoot, I would imagine here. 15 seconds. Material is not going to matter as much as just who is ahead on the clock. 12 seconds now for both players. Takes right there. Takes right there. Yep, just got to play fast and not get mated. 10 seconds. This is looking super bleak for white right now. Oh, mate and 2 possible now. Rook d3 check would have been the beginning of that. Also, some vague hope of a stalemate, although not by too much. Yeah, no, this is over. Tux Preacher's going to win this one, I think. Mating a couple moves, and with that, we're going to move on to round 3. Game over. All right, let's go back up to board 1 here. Ori against somebody else. Let's take a look. So, round 3. Who's playing who? Let's find out. These two are facing off. And then we have over here, we have Ori against MJ. Or Edmore. Oh, here we go. All right, so these two. So it's the board 1 on both teams. Ooh, exciting matchup then. And how are we doing on the board? Pretty even. This is surprising. All right, I like to root for the underdog. Let's spin this around. So Ori's 1900, almost expert actually, and then the top board Edmore is 1200. So quite a feat to be holding his own there for a while. But I may have spoke too soon. Now the position is way in Ori's favor now, and it's all really thanks to this pawn. This pass pawn here is just a crushing force. And he's also got this protected pass pawn. So kind of a similar thing to what we saw in the last game. Just that idea of having pawns that can be pushed down the end game and have little opposition in doing so can make a huge difference. What happened earlier though? I blinked and it went from even to not even at all. What happened there? Let me back up. So at what point did the other player have a chance here? Let's have a look. So right about here it was about even. B4 was a good move. Where did he mess up? Here takes A4. Oh, was that like a mouse slip or something? Why did he play there? He had to go here takes. Yeah, this was his error. This could have been a mouse slip. It's not too explainable otherwise. If there wasn't a pawn here, then we could maybe make a case for this being a good move, since now it's going to be unhindered on its way to advancing. But I think this was a mouse slip, and that's gonna cost him the game, unfortunately. Man, oh man. All right, let's go back then to this one. I think that they did go ahead and throw in the towel. The match is over there. Drats. This one is wrapping up fast. We got some fast players. Okay, so this one, I believe, is round 4. Oh my goodness. Moving so quickly. Okay, we got an opening position here. I think for the last part of this, I'm honestly just gonna remove this so that I can just focus on the commentary. It's good though. It's a good learning experience. It's nice to know kind of what you have time for and what you don't. Okay, I don't know which one we're looking at. It's a relevant game. Let's look at the position here. Starts off very even with a Sicilian, which is a great opening. It's played at high level and at club level. It's knight to g5 move. No, it's too early for this. e6 was a great move, kind of blocking this attack in like that. And then this is a really common mistake that a lot of beginners will make, is kind of thinking that against the Sicilian you can play this like traditional setup with the bishop being here and knight here. This is really a lot more applicable in instances of like a double king pawn opening, but right here not so much. So knight to g5, not a good idea there. Black's kind of kicking back white there and getting a nice advantage. I gotta at least, it just kills me to not give you some context on this. So standings, tell you what, I can at least highlight who the players are. This is Tamara against Sev Berlin. Okay, so right there and there. Let's see if the position has changed a little bit. Black is getting a bit of an advantage now. A6, attacking the knight. Knight retreats. Nice, now attacking this pawn. And this is pretty interesting because, white doesn't have that many weaknesses other than their king, but black has a lot of activity. And so, by having the knight and the bishop and these pawns all ready to go, that makes a huge difference here. The queen's kind of barreling down against the enemy king here. But right now he's got to do something about this pawn. This is good. Defending the pawn this way. After there, and then castles. And then let's see what we have happening next here. This is Tamara's chance. Tamara's on the KingSacrifice team. So they definitely need some points from this kind of stuff. Let's see if they can do it. D4. Ooh, not the right move there. It looked like a good idea, kind of gaining some activity, and then also the knight can't move into here because of the center control this way. But as it turns out, a better move for black would have been to just develop like this, and then kind of get ready to potentially even castle queenside, or at least connect the rooks. D4, unfortunately not the right call now. But now, okay, the knight was supposed to go here to A4. So by going back to B1, now black does get kind of what they were hoping for and further cramp white's position. The knight really had some good prospects on A4 though. If it went into here, it's hitting this C5 square. Not an immediate threat or anything, since it is defended obviously by a couple different points here, a couple different pieces there. But it's also threatening to go into B6 and then do a fork and then knock out a bishop on a very open board. So that would have been a great result. But after retreating the knight, now these rooks are a little bit more congested and unable to connect with one another. Pretty exciting game here, though. I mean, really, really open king right now. And I would rather be white here. But a case could be made for either side. This is really back and forth. This is what you call a very sharp position. A sharp position is one in which, the consequences for making a move that's not as good as the best one is going to be much greater than normal. And that's kind of what we're seeing happen here. I mean, just a move ago, if white plays the move A4, they have an advantage. B4, boom, advantage switches all the way, in the other direction. And we're talking about a difference of just a pawn right here or a pawn right here. But it makes the difference of about 3 points. A whole piece for that. Fascinating. Knight to D5, again, very double-edged position. It'll be interesting to see how this develops here. So white's really trying to get out of this bind and saying, okay, my pieces are cramped. I got to just kind of break this open, and hopefully you'll go like this, and I can develop my pieces. Black should be aware of this and not be so keen on just trading like this, but should instead start marching forward with this kind of a move. I like this. Just kind of ignoring this and saying, sure, you can take, but then I'm going to get my stuff in. Very, very interesting position here. So although the king is really exposed and has no immediate pawn shield, it's not really under immediate threat since white has all these pieces that are bottled up over here. Knight takes like this. That's a decent try. Trying to swap off some pieces, takes. But then after bishop captures back, black now has every single one of their pieces out and into this game here, essentially. Whereas white is really, really cramped back here. Immediate threat now to take on A1. Knight to C3. Knight C3 is going to be the best move here. Bishop right there. Not as good. Better to mobilize like all your pieces. This bishop was already out a little bit. Might as well bring out the knight. The other problem with this, though, too, is that it looks like there's going to be a tactic potentially up here against F2 now. Lots of stuff happening there. So they do take right here. Let's see what happens next. There grabs. And then now it looks like queen to G7. Ooh, with a killer battery. Queen to F6, same idea, but not quite as good. That's fascinating. So this idea here of going like this was really neat. Controls this long diagonal, hits the knight. If the knight moves, you get the queen. But queen to F6, not quite as precise. And it looks as though, I would imagine, because there's a way for white to get out of this, and that would be go knight to E4 and attack the queen. an option which is not available to them when the queen's on g7. Looks like white does miss this, understandably so, under a lot of pressure. This queen was also threatening f2, but conveniently enough, this knight, when it goes here, not only getting out of harm's way from the bishop, it would be also attacking the queen and guarding f2. So white had the chance to solve multiple problems in one move, did not do so, and now would be at a disadvantage, except, oh my goodness, bishop d5 throws away the game. Oh my goodness, this was their chance. They had to go takes here on c3. After right here, knight takes back, and now the game is very much so double-edged. It's totally equal. The strength of this battery is really no longer felt without that target on c3. What's happening now? Pretty even, pretty even. White was once, really cramped and having a difficult time getting the pieces out. Now, very different. Now, white has a pretty easy time getting their pieces out. Although this pressure against f2 is still there. This c-pawn should be a really nice asset in the endgame. But white's gotta, figure out something here. He's got to get some counterplay against the king. Beginning with just getting out of the way of this bishop. Rook to a2 guards f2 as well. They go queen to c2. Nope. That's not going to do it. Now huge advantage here for black. I think black's going to win this game. Looking really, really good for them. All right, let's go ahead and go over to some other games here. Tux Preacher. Did Ori finish all of their games with the top board? I believe they did. So I believe this is also going to be round 4 of 4. So go like this. This is the final round, folks. We're getting down to the wire here. So who's playing now? We have in this game on over this way, Tux against Megalophorus. So here and then Tux. All right. Massive advantage for Tux. Not even close in this one. Oh my goodness. So a similar, pattern we saw in the last game where black's king is just not really able to find good, safe cover anywhere. And in the last position that we were looking at over here, black had a lot of compensation for that due to their activity. Whoa, missed a mate in 5 now. Oh man, this is black's chance. Okay, to be honest with you, this game is a lot more interesting, but it's just an interesting way to clarify, like, if your king is this weak and you don't have any compensation for it, then yeah, you're just going to be at a massive disadvantage. White's got a huge lead here. But in this game, that disadvantage of having a weak king is offset by other factors here. And then here, a main one is just going to be material at this point. Black is now ahead by an extra rook. So although there's no pawn in sight for this king, he don't need no pawns. He's got these other pieces that are guarding him. And then meanwhile, white has to worry about this pawn here advancing on c2. But wait a second. So a moment ago, there was a chance for white to turn this around on this move. Black made a big blunder. Should have brought the king some protection by going here. And after king like this, it actually would have been possible to go, let's look at the analysis board here, would have been possible to go with this move, queen to d8. Mate in 4. Mate in 4. Looks like it's not going to go anywhere. You'd think, okay, sure. So rook blocks. Well, I can't even take right here. This bishop's defending that. But wait a second. Bishop's guarding right here. You want to go here? Okay. Okay, great. Takes. And then you go, okay, sure, you want a rook, but a ho-hum, whatever. Not ho-hum, whatever. Here, check. Mating that happening here. This was Severland's chance to turn this one around. And then let's see here. Maybe he was, I bet he just didn't see it, but I wonder if he was worried about something else, maybe like here, for example. Well, same thing. The rook comes over like this. That was his chance. And he missed it. He missed it. Let's go back. Let's go back to the live game here. Now, Serberlin really up against the ropes here, but quite a bit happening. Both kings are very weak still, and white does have a queen. Black doesn't have a queen here, but just a massive, massive advantage here for black. Wow, this one is pretty exciting. Pretty exciting here. So Berlin also has some more time on their clock to try to get something going. King comes into d5, and there's this very clear-cut threat to just push down the pawn. And then white is, of course, trying to prevent this, and the way that we're seeing him trying to do that right now is by perpetual check. So if he can just continually check the king like this, then it's going to be a draw. So black has to change up the plan a little bit and allow for something like this. So once the king can find cover, then black is going to be able to promote the queen and with tempo in just a couple turns. All he needs is one free move. Right there. No! That was tomorrow's chance. Wait a second. No, this was the chance. Okay, should have gone like this. After right here and then there takes. You can go rook d1. You can also just go here. Here check, king takes, and then you promote this with a queen. Oh man, so after right here, now there was a chance to recuperate a little bit, it looks like. Queen to c5 check, or right here was the right way to check the king. So much to look at, so much to see, and with only a couple seconds on the clock. Understandably, players are missing so many things. Wait a second. Okay, right here, rook to d2 check. This would have led to mate. Mate, we don't need this pawn. We can do mate with the rooks. Here check, here check. With this pawn here, all of a sudden there's a mating net. That would have been game over. Wow, a lot of back and forth here. No, not this move. Here check would have been perpetual. It would have been sufficient to just dodge on all these squares here. Oh my goodness, what's happening now? Queen e4 check. Black still has a massive advantage here. White trying everything they can to keep these checks going. But is black going to find a way out of these checks? They only need one move now. They only need one move to go here check. I think black has this in the bag now. We'll see though. We can take this pawn with check. Knock out one of those guys at least. White has no hopes of a stalemate or anything like that. Does get this one. Takes right there. And essentially, black is just looking for that chance to end these perpetuals. They only need one free move. So white is trying to come up with checks like this and then anticipate that once black does something, they can keep the checks going. In theory, this is no contest. It should be just a huge, huge win here for black. But over the board, it can be pretty hard to figure out a way out. You know, when your opponent has continual checks against you. But as white now, you're thinking, all right, if I go here check, and then here, what's my follow-up? And you go, okay, I'll go like this. When will the checks end? Once the checks end, it's game over. And this is, I think, the last round of last game of this round, or this team matchup. The checks just keep coming, though. But I can tell you from experience, these checks will not last. There will be an end to these pretty soon. Mate in 64. Ooh, can you believe that? And then the other part that really makes this challenging, like I was saying earlier, is that there's just no prospects of getting like a stalemate because of these two pawns, too. Are they out of checks now? I think that's going to do it. No more checks now. GG. Game over. That's resignable. What a matchup, though. Huh? So I believe the open source knights did win this matchup. I don't know that for sure. I'm just doing that based off of the information that was available to me before the match. It was pretty hard to keep up with these. So, yeah. Plenty going on here. I think they're going to play it out, though. They're going to play it out. They're going to go like this. Okay, sure, why not? Yeah, keep the checks going with the queen. Maybe you can try to flag your opponent. I like this plan. Try to get pieces on the board, but now rook to d2. Now it's resignable. I think that's going to do it for today, guys. We saw some exciting matchups. This is a lot of fun. Really looking forward to covering more of these. And if you're watching this and you'd like me to cover your stream, let me know. We can reschedule your match for a time that I can cover. So I believe that is going to do it for today. Yep, that's going to do it, guys. Until next week or next time, play lots of chess, practice your puzzles, do lots of blitz. I'll see you guys later.